Looking back on this show is a weird one. Sometimes you can remember the absolute balls to the wall animation. Sometimes it's the music that can literally make you ascend. But one thing that I remember more than anything is Lucy, the girl that made me pack up and finish. Sorry, had to get the big funny meme out the way, and now the rest of the video will probably just go downhill. Firstly, hello, I'm back. It's been 8 months, but it's been 8 months as far as I go, really. Secondly, go subscribe to the channel. Guaranteed one high quality video a week. Maybe a second if I can phantom the time. So, Cyberpunk 2077 was a game that I absolutely loved. Now, it's not without its very clear problems at launch. Between the many bugs and, at the time, graphical mistakes. That's not to mention the characters not saying anything, characters not turning up, and many accidental deaths. However, Cyberpunk, despite all of that, is still one of my favorite games ever made. The way that they can make a dystopian future feel so much like a future we might really live in is in itself a testament to the world they actually created. The characters feel like real people. Well, I mean, Keanu Reeves is a real person, but you get what I'm trying to say here, right? So yeah, despite a lot of others that have commented on this anime, I have a very close attachment to this game, and it really did mean a lot to me at the time. And then the anime came along, and it's easily made it one of the best worlds in fiction for me. I've been out of love with anime for a very long time. Ever since winter season this year, I've actually struggled to find a show that I'd watch and really enjoy. I'd sit there all day and I'd try to watch shows and nothing would really click with me. And that sucked to me because I truly love this medium. I also watched a lot of Breaking Bad, and that in itself needs all of your attention when you watch it. P.S. Hank, you're welcome in my bed at any time of the weekend. So when I heard there was an anime coming for one of my favorite games ever made, I was cautiously optimistic. Firstly because I haven't watched anime in so long, and secondly, video game adaptations apart from Arcane have been no. However, I'm so happy to say that this show is bombastic, it's crazy and bloody to all hell, and most of all, it just fucking slaps. Now, you may be asking me, well, what slaps about it? And to answer that question, I have divided this answer into 3 segments for the video. The music, the animation, and the emotional highs. And trust me, you really want to stay into the last one because even I'm looking at my own script and god damn do I make some good opinions.
Hey, David, my man, what's going on? Everything good?
Yeah.
What's up, June?
The official soundtrack for Cyberpunk Edgerunners is composed of songs that are made for the anime, but also songs and instrumentals that are taken straight from the game itself. This isn't also to mention the countless amounts of sound effects. Like, for example, David getting a call and hearing that sound effect was the most jarring shit I have ever seen in my life. But as much as I joke about it, I honestly felt like sometimes the characters were talking, and in the background there was just this bop. Can you turn up the music? There's people in the way, they're talking shit. Thank you. And it wasn't just the song either. It felt like the soundtracks all brought something to the table. And this wasn't just elevator music, so the conversation was never awkward or paused at random points. It felt like every conversation had its time to shine, but never overshadowed the music, which I believe made some of the scenes as impactful as they were. And the opening, I mean, so far Netflix has not disappointed with their anime originals, and the openings behind them, we won't talk about JoJo Season 6 because that really is just beating a dead horse at this point. Again, I mean, for example, Arcane having one of the coolest openings to date with me literally knowing all the words like the back of my hand. And before I have requests from Albuquerque telling me that Arcane isn't an anime, don't you think I know that? You're not different, you just sound like a pretentious twat. So hearing this OP, well, let's just say I really cannot get it out of my head and it is driving me insane. And also, I'm going to mention it now, this is where the big spoilers for the show come, and I've been nice until now. I even gave a spoiler warning at the start of the video, so if you're still here and get upset I ruined the show, yeah, it does sound like a you problem now. The whole opening for the show actually depicts the whole story being told, from David's come up to when he eventually dies to Adam Smasher. It's all depicted, from when he is a boy with remorse and optimism to a man with major sober psychosis and no fear at all. Only the mission to make sure everyone gets their fair share and that Lucy gets to truly live her dream. It's all told within an opening, and instead of people, catching on, they just had to make an absolute banger on top, so instead of people watching the opening, you're uncontrollably swaying your head across the room. Honestly, this year's anime of the year is going to be one of the hardest to decide, and make sure to tune on December 28th when I do a massive talk about the anime this year and what is the true winner. I don't know why I've suddenly made a date for it, but there you are. However, sound effects, yeah, get ready, this is the wildest 180 you're ever going to see, are to me what makes this show so immersive and why people are now either going to play the game for the first time or re-entering hoping for their second or their 10th time is something else and really shows them the beautifully crafted world that CD Projekt Red was able to make. As someone that's put 180 hours into the game and also bought the game on 3 separate occasions, the sound effects are one of the coolest parts because it didn't even feel like an animated spin-off from the game, but literally just another story that can be told within the world of Cyberpunk, which is really, really hard to do. And yes, I spent 150 quid on the game, leave me alone, I don't regret it. That's partially a lie.
So, like, why me?
Dunno. Guess it just.
Now, if you've seen literally anything for this show, you know that the animation is fucking ridiculous. And I hate saying this, but this show is as hyped as it is because of its animation, but not in the way you think I mean. Now, it's not surprising that the show looks as great as it does, and that's all thanks to the outstanding Studio Trigger, a studio that's brought you Darling in the Franxx, Kill la Kill, and one of the episodes of Star Wars Visions, just to name a few of the more iconic ones they have made. So yeah, they're not mysteries in the community. However, I think I'd be very inclined to say that this is one of the studio's very best work. Now, earlier I said that the animation wasn't just good, but actually something else entirely. The way that the camera shots are taken within this show outstands me. It feels like the camera was made to fit around the music in this show, and only complements it. I mean, one of my favourite shots is episode 2 where David and Lucy are on a brain dance on the moon. I mean, by this point, I'm just going to presume everyone has heard I Really Want to Stay at Your House either through TikTok or just searching it up. It is a brilliant track, but the visuals behind both times it's used makes my jaw drop. However, one shot made me fall in love with the anime all over again, and that was David and Lucy looking at Earth. And what did this remind me of? Fucking Evangelion! I actually could not get away from this show. Ever since I've watched it, wherever I go, I just see its fucking face. I don't know what it is about the shot, but it just gave me chills, and it still does when I look at it. And this isn't the only time. This show strikes me as a 90s animation remade for the 21st century, and that is what makes this show so remarkable. The other thing that is ridiculous about the animation of this show is the gore. The amount of gore is so refreshing. And because of the amount of blood in this show, it again reminds me of an old piece of Japanese media. Akira. I should also comment, I have absolutely nothing against these shows. In fact, both of them are in my top 20. Yes, I know Akira isn't a show, it's a film, fuck off. In fact, I want to say Akira feels like it was an inspiration not just for Edgerunners, but for Cyberpunk 2077 itself. The way Akira's world is so broken and favors the rich and powerful. Maybe Edgerunners is just the modern day Akira, minus the monumental amount of Kanye West afterwards. I think everyone also talks about episode 6's animation, but completely disregards episode 10's. That episode, to me, makes the anime, and the ending scene understood that the animation wasn't the key focus, but where it was drawn from a camera standpoint. Fuck, I love this show.
This is what you do best, ain't it? Just keep running.
This show has already got such a deep place in my heart. It got me so in love with the world again. It made me completely fall in love with anime all over again. And I was really struggling to watch shows. This show came at a point in my life where I was moving to a new city, where I was nervous, where I wasn't exactly in the happiest places, and where I didn't really know what I wanted. And this show helped me with all of that. There's aspects of this show that made me see myself in a very harsh manner, and I also saw a lot of my worries and my life struggles in it. For example, that pain of always feeling like the system is against you, and all you want to do is be happy, but life is just not going your way due to the simple things like money, work, or in my case, university, and just not feeling good enough. Feeling like a system that only helps those talented with money is hard for me because I don't have either. I'm not stupid by any means, but I work harder than most need or should do, so I can just be at the top and not be left behind. But even then, I still lose, and it's really hard. Having a show to capture all of that, by all means in a much more extreme and gruesome manner, was so refreshing because this show taught me one thing. It has an underlying truth about our world. Money, power, fame, all these things come together, and we will find the One Piece. Sorry. Money, power, fame, we preserve it as everything. If you don't have it, then you have no meaning. We should be left to rot, and in today's world filled with social media, that is really never more true. Everyone wants to be someone and nobody wants to be no one. And Cyberpunk Edgerunners literally tells us this in a more action-based sentence. We either die a legend, or we just die. And in our current world, I think this roughly translates to either die with money and people around us, or we just die and that's it. However, as much as I'm being quite morbid, I do think there's a much more positive message to be told. Life isn't about how you live. It's not about the things you do. It's not about what you can change about yourself physically or personality-wise. I honestly think it's about how you make people feel. and the impact you leave when you see them for the last time. And this show does a splendid job of that. David just wants to make Lucy's dream come true. Lucy just wants David to be safe and protect him. Maine wants to make sure that whoever is around him is protected and gets by okay, and Rebecca wants to make sure that the people she's close to really feel that they have someone close to them, even if she never wants to actually show that emotion. This show is about the impact that they leave on the world and the emotions they convey for their intentions to emerge. And with that being said, I love this show so much, and I'm so grateful for this show and for what it did for my life and my love for anime. I'm so happy to be back, and I cannot wait to make content again. So Studio Trigger and Project Red, thank you for everything.